Okay, just a little clarification of the directions here and a little bit of a refresher on the grammar. For your vocabulary section, it says complétez les phrases avec un mot de vocabulaire. So all of your answers here will come right from your Chapter 2 vocab sheet. N'oubliez pas que les noms ont besoin d'un article. So any blank where you're putting in a noun as your answer, make sure that your noun has an article in front of it. Le, la, les, un, une, des, whichever one is appropriate for that answer. For your question section, posez des questions dont la réponse à la question est en italique. Utilisez l'inversion. So what you have are open-ended questions. Remember that your question word is going to replace what's in italics. So the qui, que, comment, pourquoi, ou whichever question word that you're using. Make sure that the one that you pick is the one that makes sense for the answer. And pay attention, write the question with inversion. So that's when you're writing it as verb subject. So you're not going to write these with esco, you're going to write them with inversion. But remember that if you've got a noun subject, that you start with the noun. We always include the name or the noun in the question. And then it's verb hyphen subject pronoun. Il, elle, plural. Whichever one matches the gender and number of that noun that you keep at the beginning. The question word, of course, is the first word. So we have that there. But also with the inversion, make sure that you put a T in between the verb and the subject pronoun if you've got a verb where the last letter is not D or T. You also need to pay attention to the verb tense of the answer. Your question will be in the same tense. So if your answer is in the present tense, your question will also be in the present tense. Same thing with passé composé. Answer in the passé composé, question in the passé composé. And then the negative section, répondez négativement aux questions en utilisant une expression négative qui n'est pas ne pas. N'utilisez pas une expression négative plus que deux fois. So use any negative expression that makes sense, but do not use ne pas, because that could answer any question ever. It's not specific enough. So on your list, you can use any of the negative expressions except for ne pas. Of course, you can use ne pas du tout, which is effectively the same as ne pas, just a little stronger. But don't use any negative expression more than twice, because you could put in ne pas du tout as the answer to all of them, but you need to be a little bit more specific, a little bit more creative. And again, pay attention to the verb tense of the question. So if you've got a present tense question, you'll have a present tense answer. If you've got a passé composé question, you'll have a passé composé answer. There's more than one correct answer here. So if you've got a question like, tu aimes faire les devoirs? Do you like to do homework? You could say, I don't like to do homework at all. You could say, I no longer like to do homework. I never like to do homework. I don't like to do anything. There are a lot of possible answers there. So as long as you have one that does make sense based on the question, then you'll be all set in terms of this and for when you take the Open Notes test next class.